If you look behind me, the Nissan Z is gone. We got rid of it, it's gone, sold, never coming back, and a lot of people might be asking why. Alex, are you like TJ Hunt? Are you gonna sell every single thing that you build? The answer is no, it's not. When we bought the 2023 Nissan Z, it was initially meant to kind of be the start of this next chapter with Martini Works. The whole goal was to have a really emotional tie to what I was gonna consider like the first true build underneath the brand, and kind of connected to the first Z that launched me into modifying my car, which was the Datsun 280Z that I had way back in like 2013 now. So before I talk about why we decided to sell it, it might be good for you to know what it was like. So starting way back in the beginning, we had an allocation for like 2 years. So long that I actually forgot we even had it. It was one of those things where once we got called up and we said we had an Ikazuchi Yellow, performance spec, 6-speed manual, LSD available at MSRP, it kind of was just like a no-brainer. We decided to pull together some funds and actually just make it happen. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that was a $900 a month payment that we decided to put onto a loan to see if we would actually like the car. It was a huge decision, and it was an expensive one. And right out of the gate, if you're looking to buy one and you want to know if it's worth it, I would say yes. It is a great car. What I found that I really enjoyed about it was the fact that the infotainment system was awesome. The way the car felt was incredible. The way that you could drive that car for a super long period of time, I drove it all the way down to Tennessee and back, which was I think 12 hours one way, and still feel like I had a good driving experience. It was great. I would say it's obviously still a Nissan, so there's a lot of Nissan bits that kind of feel maybe copy and pasted, like the buttons and some of the steering wheel and the cloth and the seats and things like that, but that's just how Nissan do. So with that being said, the one thing I did realize as we were keeping it stock is that the car felt a lot more like a Grand Tourer than it did a sports car. What I mean by that is when we were driving it, a lot of times it felt like it was more so meant to just kind of be comfortable over long periods of time. The torque band was super aggressive if you got on it, sure, but for the most part, it was like above higher RPMs, you just kind of chilled. Everything was just supposed to be comfortable and connected. So it never really felt like a sports car to me. It honestly felt more like I don't know, like a detuned AMG almost, but for some reason or another, it didn't feel like any of that was bad. It just didn't feel as much as an analog sports car, kind of like the GR86. You know, we've had a really good time being able to drive the GR86, M2 competitions, Toyota Supras, C8 Corvettes, and a lot of cars that would sit in the same price point as the new 2023 Nissan Z. And so we were constantly comparing it to those things, which I really loved because I was saying it was like an upgraded GR86, but it still wasn't as refined to me as something like a Toyota Supra. So you watch the episodes, you watch the videos where we put the Works ZR10s, the Michelin Pilot Sport 4Ss, the BC Racing BR Series coilovers, and then the EBC rotors and pads. And I do have to say, that changed the car a ton. It was awesome. Everything felt like it was way more connected. The body roll was just minimized. The BC Racing coilovers did an excellent job on the track, and the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires just connected the car. I love the way the car felt like this versus the forged performance wheels that are still super cool, but with the tires, it just was kind of a sloshy feeling. We ended up throwing an FI exhaust on it, which was a catback, which sounded better, but it still sounded like somebody was just blowing air through a straw, and it just was super quiet. So we ended up taking that entire thing. Once we got it all done, we drove it down to Tennessee. We drove it through the mountains. It was absolutely awesome. The exhaust sounded better, but it definitely needed more. And so when we got the car back, it ended up just kind of sitting around for a little bit until we decided to put the downpipes, the tune, and the intake on it, which really opened up the car. I mean, I would say if you're looking to buy an exhaust for the Nissan Z, you're gonna have to do downpipes. And the downpipe experience is... So how does it drive though? Like, is it a fun car to drive and modify? Absolutely. The biggest thing that I didn't like about the car is that it is still a very expensive platform to do anything with, which is kind of contrary to what Nissans are typically known for, which is being affordable mods. Now I know the car is new, so don't get mad. I get it. But it's like an intake's $1,000, heat exchanger is $1,400, an exhaust is $4,000 because it can be, because the car is new. And a lot of those things started to add on to the experience that I had, which was, it was just getting more and more expensive. I love the FI exhaust. I love the coilovers. I love the wheels, I love the tires, but you guys know us. There's a lot of times where we're not paying MSRP on a lot of those things. We paid full price on the wheels because Dakota and I were kind of going back and forth on getting the right wheels for the platform, and Dakota said we had to get something that truly encompassed what the Nissan Z platform was meant to be. So when we dished out $2,900 for Works ZR10, that was a lot of money. And everything about the car continued to be a lot of money. The monthly payments, the insurance, all that sort of stuff, just kind of holding on to it. So why did I sell it? I mean, because of this. You know, we talked about moving at the beginning of February. We moved into a shop. It's been awesome. We've got like 6, 7 cars in here. We got the whole team working together with all our camera equipment in one spot. And it's been probably the most exciting step we've taken with trying to make the whole Martini Works thing work. And also just like my personal content and kind of separating my work and my life and having a place where I can go home and actually feel like I can relax a little bit. And I've always taken it as a way where cars are a way to experience new things and try new things. It's been a little bit less about the car itself, more than it is about the emotion that the car gives me. And I know that sounds super cheesy, but that's why I love such weird shit. That's why I love Nissan Glorias, and I want to build an old 70s Mercedes car, and I want to build a DTM car, and I want to build some of these weird funky Alfa Romeos that I keep seeing that I've loved since I was a kid. But it's more about the emotion that it gives me rather than saying I've got a super fast, super awesome brand new car. I'll tell you, walking into this shop every day, being with the team and doing what we do without the car payment makes me feel incredible. And that's why this thing that we're trying to do right now is way more important to me than having a big, bright, yellow twin turbo Nissan 370Z. So there you go. And hopefully you guys are comfortable with that, because we talked about our 2024 goals at the beginning of this year. We talked about how we wanted to have a shop, which we've gotten. We talked about wanting to have a track car for Time Attack. We've got the S2000 series going, which if you haven't picked up an S2000T yet, please go do that. That would mean the world. We talked about wanting to go to Fall Matsuri. We talked about making Martini Works huge, and there's a little bonus of trying to hire my friends. And so this was the first step towards that, which meant we had to take a sacrifice. We had to sell a car so that we could afford doing this, because at the end of the day, it's literally just us and you, and hopefully people modding their car at Martini Works. So I always want to be honest with you about what we're doing and why we did it, and hopefully you guys are comfortable with this decision. And if you're not, I'm sure you'll yell at me and you'll tell me below. But I'm AlexMartini. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you on the next one. Hey!